All right, hey everybody, welcome back to the Pawn Shop of Life. I am your host, Brad BCG, and I am soloing it today because I am here to do another follow-up on Diablo. So my co-hosts, they're busy, so it's just going to be me. We're going to do a quick one on this. First of all, what I want to do is I want to say we've had a lot of interest in Diablo, so I find that quite amusing. But I want to give a shout out. Looks like we've kind of gotten worldwide. We're going to Germany, Sweden, United Kingdom, and Poland. So shout out to those countries. If anybody's got any feedback or anything you want to hear, if you got some specific topics about Diablo that you want us to talk about, or maybe go over or send some links to, we do have an email. It is pawnshopoflife@gmail.com. So you're more than welcome to drop us a hint on that. I want to give a shout out to our podcast hosting site, which is Buzzsprout. So thank you, Buzzsprout, for having us there. So I think it's kind of gotten to the point now to where we talked about it the last time when we did a Diablo podcast. The Necro has gotten boring. I'm not going to lie about that. It is slightly overpowered, like we've talked about. My buddy who I play with, he's already swapped over to a sorcerer. I actually went back and I did make a barb, and I went back and visited my druid. So the druid build is still a little bit cumbersome. It's not too terribly bad. And the barb, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody that's listening, if you want to play a barb, it is kind of fun. And I did see a little thing to where you can do a barb easier on console, but the earthquake barb build is going to work best on computer because you can use your little mouse and hit the power and go where you want to. I found myself a lot of times just bouncing around all over the screen, and it became, it was annoying. I mean, I just got to go ahead and tell you now, it's just annoying because you see the group of people that, you know, the mobs that you want to go jump on, but it'll just blast right past it. And I think I jumped 3 or 4 times doing a boss fight one time, back and forth across the screen. The barb would never just jump on the boss. So it was a little bit of a pain in the ass. So I think it would work better on PC. But, you know, there, like I said, there is a thing, and it basically is using, on console, it's basically using the lunge attack, which is one of your basic attacks. You just use the lunge, and then you have to let go of the thumbstick, and then you just jump straight up and down and make a couple of earthquakes, and then you can do your other power and make the ground blow up. It was fun, though. Don't get me wrong, I do like it. But, like I said, probably better on PC. Baby Kangaroo, he's sticking with the Spiritborn. He did make a barb. We got him up there, but he kind of quit it because nobody likes change, especially somebody like him. So he stuck with the Spiritborn. I think we finally got his powers right and some of his stuff like he needed it to be. So he's actually maintaining World Tier 4. He's not pit pushing, although some of the looks like some of the witchcraft powers are still broken, and there's a lot of things that Blizzard seems to be trying to change to try to balance it out like it's supposed to be. But from what I was understanding, it looks like a Spiritborn did clear Pit 150. So, I mean, something is still broken, but I think everything that we've seen broken besides Necro has been witchcraft powers. So, you know, they're going to get it wrangled in sooner or later. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. Let's see. Another buddy of mine that I play with, Dan, he's doing a rogue. He was doing, seems like the rogue's a pretty good build too. I don't know about pit pushing, but Dance of Knives is working really well on Torment 4 for speed farming, doing Helltide, doing the green zones, doing Nightmare Dungeons and the root holes and stuff like that. And I've seen a couple of rogues that are just decimating with the Rain of Arrows. So maybe it looks like Rain of Arrows for pit push and Dance of Knives for speed running and getting everything that you want. So that's what my suggestion would be if you wanted to do a rogue. I've done a rogue a few times. They are fun. I think it still is my go-to in Eternal for, you know, just like I said, just doing pits and stuff like that. Especially doing hordes. That seems to be really great. If any of our listeners want to, if you're looking for somebody who plays on the regular, and maybe y'all were looking for a guild or something, we're not the greatest players in the world by any means, so don't get us wrong. We're not trying to say that we are, but the guild that we are in is DGP, if I got any Family Guy fans out there, DGP stands for Don't Get Penisy. It was one of the Family Guy things. It's really funny. We've kind of stuck with it, so that's kind of what we're rocking. If you want to join the guild, look us up and just say that, hey, I heard you on the podcast, thought it was, liked it or whatever it was, and then you come talk shit to us. Actually get to know some of us if you want to. We're ornery. We're kind of vulgar, but we try to be pretty good people. So take that for what it's worth. Let's see. We had an update today. So it looks like they dropped the Lunar Awakening. So it seems to be, let's see. Lunar Awakening is an event that is a limited time event that celebrates the Lunar New Year and the Year of the Snake. And it's running from February 4th to February 18th. I wish I could make this sound like it's complicated or something, but it's kind of just like anything else. You go to Kedbardu, you talk to the lady a couple of times, and basically all that it is you go out, you kill, and you get enough, I don't know what you want to call it. You get enough points for the person, and you go talk to her, just kind of like you're doing with the seasonal thing. You got a billboard there. You get your little caches off of the billboard. They're doing the same thing with the lunar year. So the altars that are in pits and nightmare dungeons and stuff like that, they look like a snake because obviously, like I just said, you're the snake. So you do those, and it starts giving you credit toward getting your little caches and everything from the lady over in Kedbardu. Haven't noticed anything significantly different. There's seen a lot of goblins. So that's actually been kind of nice to see the goblins come back, because I really liked it when they had that goblin thing where so for those of y'all who don't know, when they had the goblin thing running, all you had to do was run a nightmare dungeon, don't kill anything, and run around and look until you find a greed shrine. When you find a greed shrine, that's when you start killing as much as you can, and goblins just all over the place and gear galore. It was super fun. It was a great way to try to get some of your codex powers leveled up to where they needed to be, and we had a whole lot of fun with that. So this is kind of a little reminiscent of that whenever you find a greed shrine. And, like I said, it gives you stuff towards the little lady or whatever it is. So that's always a good thing. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Let's see. I can talk about that later. Lunar event. Let's see. One thing that they did do. I was so happy. We just noticed it today. We ran Tree Boy, and we did Andirial, or Andy as we call him. They actually moved the damn shrines where you put the stuff in. So they're no longer in the center of the place where you usually one-shot them, especially if you're a necro. You don't have all the gear or the stuff drop on top of that, and then it's just annoying. So they actually moved it. So maybe Blizzard is listening. I'm going to take credit for this one. I'm not going to lie, because I've talked about it on every single podcast that we've talked about when we talked about Diablo. So I'm taking credit for it. They finally moved the damn shrine down just enough to where you one-shot whoever it is, they die, all the gear falls there, but the little thing where you put in all your materials is finally moved down. I cannot express how happy I am that they finally did that. That's absolutely phenomenal. I am so happy about that. Let's see. Yep. Let's see. Necro got boring. That was one of those things. Druid wasn't too bad. Kind of got back into that a little bit to try to see about. It wasn't that hard. It's just annoying to sit there and have to swing at nothing, or swing and hit a nobody mob for a couple minutes to get one thing to pop up. It's not that that's a bad build, but it's just it could be, I don't know, it could be better. I understand how the mechanics of the game works and everything, but whatever. Still not that fun. I've got it to where I can run on tier 4 and once I get everything done up. So I guess it's great for Helltide. Walk into Helltide, Helltides are big zones, so plenty of places to go, plenty of caches to get, stuff like that. Walk in there, take your time, do your little things, get the powers built up, and then just walk around and keep refreshing Cataclysm, dash through a couple of people because you're using Flicker Steps, which makes your cooldown for your ultimate, which is Cataclysm, quicker. And I just kind of wiped through it. It was really quick to get the season journey, which was 10 caches, I think it was, and then kill 250 or 500, I think it was 250. Get max rank for Helltide being angry at you, and then kill 250 people before the guy spawns. That does stack, so you don't have to do it all in one run, but it was there. Druid made it kind of easy. So there is that. And Druid's fun if you want to try and learn that silly thing. But, it is what it is. Let's see what else we got. So they broke the armory. That was one thing we were just talking about on there with a friend of mine. The armory is temporary being disabled. Let's see what they say, if they say anything about it. We've encountered a volume of crash reports related to interactions with the armory. We'll be disabling armory for the time being. Seems like everything that they put out, they break. They got good. They got work. Looks good on paper. Doesn't work in whenever they actually apply it. Seems to be a lot of things that are going on. They added a couple of the little things in the green zones. I think they added another spot where you can claim your favors or whatever it is in the zone. So that was a little something extra that they're trying to make everything easy on you. And something else we were talking about. Seems like people were complaining that they're not able to get all of the witchcraft powers. It seems like those people who are complaining are people who play, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 hours a week, because we were talking about it. I didn't have a problem getting all the witchcraft powers. If y'all want to leave some feedback or whatever it is, because it seemed like they were really easy. I didn't run a whole lot of root holds or nightmare dungeons or stuff, but we ran enough, found them all. Didn't seem like it was that problematic, but I guess that's just because, we seem to play a little too much, but that's just us. So all you people who are complaining about that, just keep working through it. If all you do is play 3 or 4 hours a week, you're probably not going to get, you're not going to put pit. Oh, wow. Look, I can't talk. You're not going to push pit 130 or 150 or something like that, playing, 30 minutes a day or 4 hours a week or something like that. We play sometimes, 8 to 10 hours a day. If I get bored, I don't have anything to do or don't want to go anywhere. Sometimes, 20 minutes, jump on, do a couple things, and then jump off. So, there is that. Let's see. What else we got here? Player gets killed after portaling in town. There's always some fun stuff. I think they had the one thing, too, where monsters were coming into town, too. So that was, I giggled at that. People in town dying. That's so funny. Xbox. Oh. So we play on Xbox, and here we have an Xbox brightness issue and fix. Players logging in today after today's patch on Xbox console have been having issues with brightness settings. The patch broke something, and players had to adjust their TV settings specifically for the game as brightness was simply too low. There we go. As it turns out, this is an issue with HDR and is being fixed, with a temporary solution being to put the game in performance mode. I think I always have it in performance mode. I mean, the game looks good, but does anybody really care, that it looks like that? I mean, I understand if you go back and play Diablo 3 and you look at it, Diablo 3 is really cartoony after playing Diablo 4. And I know that Diablo 4 looks good, but does anybody else run it on make my stuff look so good and do all the shadow stuff? Because I don't really care about that. That's funny. Twilight warding witchcraft power enabled. So they fixed something. It's back. Blizzard has re-enabled Twilight warding after hopefully fixing the issue where it was causing player deaths from reflected damage even in hardcore. Man, I feel like they need to stop playing grab ass and actually pay attention and concentrate on some stuff. Does anybody, I'd like to hear, if anybody's listening, do y'all buy any of the cosmetics in the shop? They're really overpriced at $20 or something like that, just for a cosmetic. And they did add a couple of pets. And I don't know what one of them is. One of them's like a lizard dinosaur of some sorts. And it's $20. And all it is the little guy that picks up the money for you. I can't imagine anybody would want to pay $20 just to have a little thing that you never look at that runs around and picks up, gold and stuff that's on the ground. That's crazy. I think I've bought maybe one thing. I think the best thing that I've only bought like 3 things. And one of them was a barbarian thing. And I have only seen one other player have it, but it drops a big bell right in front of the barb, and then the barb pulls out this big hammer and then rings the bell a couple of times and then pounds it in the ground. Funny thing with that is the world boss. I don't remember. I think we've talked about it before, but looks like the world has a big butthole, and you can use lunging strike, and you can get in there before the boss spawns. And I used to drop the bell in there, and it's just a funny antidote, because it looks like it's like, oh well, look, there's the world's butthole, and I just put a bell in it, so there's the world's butt plug. We're always gonna have fun. You got to find small things in there to have fun while you're being tortured by Blizzard. So it is what it is. Let's see. Lunar Awakening. All right, we talked about that. Said thank you to the countries. We do have an Instagram account. I think I've may have mentioned before. It's Pawn Shop of Life. I think I kept looking on there and I was trying to find it, but there's a couple other pawn shops labels anyway, but it's not quite like ours. But I'm trying to get that worked out. So yeah, there it is. About 2 weeks in. The reason I did this now is because we do have our, I guess I could say our official third topic episode coming up on Friday. It is the Drunken Pawn Shop of Life, and we'll be doing Power Hour. Again, if you don't know what that is, you can listen to it and giggle at us because we're probably going to giggle ourselves. I'm trying to work on some things to try to be able to do live broadcasts because I have a couple of ideas and stuff that I want to do. Buzzsprout is one of the companies who actually don't do live streaming kind of things. I think they use Riverside FM, so I'm gonna be looking into that. So, maybe somebody wants to listen in or actually be involved in it. My wife just texted me, even though she's about 3 feet behind me, that says, have them do Power Hour with us while they listen. All right. Well, if any of you lunatics out there that is actually drink, then, give power. Make sure you're at home and not going anywhere. But do Power Hour with us and see what you think. I know it's kind of, it's kind of childish maybe, but I mean, we're just having fun. It doesn't matter, That's what we're here for. We're just here to talk shit, have fun, see what goes on. So yeah, do that with us. See what happens. See if you can hang. Like I said, I think Baby Kangaroo has probably bitten off more than he can chew because it doesn't seem like he's ever done it before. I've only made it a couple of times myself and only made it with one other person. Everybody usually quits. We've talked about it before. So yeah, join in and see what you think. See if you can hang. I think Baby Kangaroo is going to wind up. I think he's going to wind up having to stay in the extra bedroom. That's going to be a blast. I'm going to giggle at that a whole lot. So Baby Kangaroo, if you actually listen to this, which I don't think you are, you're not going to make it, bro. That's what I'm putting my money on. You're not making it. All right. Well, like I said, it's going to make this a quick one. It's been about 18 minutes. I think I've talked about everything that I wanted to. Like I said, I'm going to reiterate again. Like I said, our email is pawnshopoflife@gmail.com. Again, if you've got some things that you want us to talk about specifically, if you got feedback, less of me, more of my other co-hosts, which is what I usually get in real life. They seem to like my co-hosts better than me, and that's okay. I've dealt with that my whole life. I'm a little abrasive. Yeah, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. And we will talk more about Diablo. The season seems to be going pretty well. I think I've pushed somewhere around 130, 135 like that, and I'm not spec'd out like I need to. You get a lot of gear in this season, but you're not getting a lot of gear that's actually worth anything. So it's nice to see the codexes come up and having the higher ranked powers in the fucking codex. That's great to kind of bank it and, for whatever it is in case you need it, or maybe you get bored with the slow moving blood wave build. Because, like I said, hit one button, run around in a circle, kill everything. I don't know. In the higher pits, whenever I was pushing, I actually started off with Blight. So shoot with Blight. I'm using the Spiritborn's Vortex, Blight, vortex them in. Blood wave usually kills everybody in 1 or 2 blood waves, and I actually made it pretty good. So, y'all keep blood waving it up because it seems to be working. All right. Like I said, this is going to be a quick one, about 20 minutes. So that's all I can think of. Again, give us some feedback. Let us know what you want to talk about. If you got something specific class-wise, we can look it up. I got enough people that I play with, and maybe I'll be interested myself. If you're curious about a build, anything like that, I'll give it a whirl. There's Max Roll, there's Icy Veins. Mobilytic seems to be the 3 top spots to look for builds. And you know what? I think that's about all that I got for today. So, again, appreciate you joining in. Give us some feedback. Hit us up. Let us know. And we'll be here for you next time. So we'll see you on Friday. Y'all have a good one until then.